it's a certain charm, but it takes a certain person to appreciate that charm.
It does.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, that's another, reason why I loved that question so much, because I really don't ask it anymore because it doesn't really apply. But, it just depends on where you are from. And that's the thing that I love about real estate is that, just like relationships, there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
And I love taking a raw person, if you will, and okay, I can do this. I love that challenge. I will form this. Of matching what they say with their deliverable dream.
Yeah. Welcome to Agent Success Podcast. If you're a real estate agent looking to succeed in today's crazy market, well, you're in the right place. Each week, we talk with successful real estate agents willing to share their expert insights, trade secrets, and mindset that help them to succeed. There's no fluff, just straight to the point content that prioritizes one thing above all, your success. So without further ado, let's cut to the chase. Welcome to another episode of Cut to the Chase. I am Tim Chase. I am here to talk all things real estate, how to succeed in real estate, and how to actually enjoy doing real estate. I have a very special guest with me today. Would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
Sure thing, Tim. My name is Carrie Hogaboom. I've been in Colorado for about 17 years, on and off. We moved away for a couple of years, military family.
Okay.
Moved away to England. That was a really cool experience. Yep. Lived outside of Oxford.
Do you ever try to talk with an accent?
I tried. I can't master it.
Okay. Can you give me an example? Like say welcome to England. Okay, how about this? Say water bottle.
Yeah, water.
Yeah, there we go. Water.
Water.
Yeah,
yes,
water.
it's very.
Ooh, that was very proper.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you sound like a native.
So anyway, no, it was pretty cool. My middle son mastered the British English.
Really?
British accent.
How long did he live there?
Just 2 years, and he was
what
in
age?
first grade and second grade.
Really?
And
he's just surrounded by it all day.
They would joke that he sounded more British than they did.
Oh wow!
He really has a knack for picking up.
So did he like in school? Did he intentionally use that, like talk that way to his friends?
Yes, he did.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And I can't remember if he brought it home. I think he brought it home too.
Okay.
But he could just switch it on and switch it off. They went to private school, boarding school.
Okay, yeah.
And it was.
I would use that to my advantage here in America. Anytime if I needed to sound a little more proper, I could pull it off.
I need to test him. He'll be 20 this month.
Okay.
In a couple weeks,
yeah.
So I need to test him and see if he can still do it or not.
He'll be 20 in a couple weeks. Now, you and I just discovered that we are within 6 months of the same age, right?
Correct.
My son just turned 20 yesterday.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Is that your oldest?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a 23-year-old.
23. Okay.
Yeah. 20 and 13.
And 13.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Deployment.
Yeah.
Really, just whatever happens.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You got deployed, then you're not, and then we got a kid, and then you're deployed, and okay.
Deployed for 16 months, and
hey,
third baby sounds like a great idea.
Sounds like a fantastic
Let's do it all
idea.
over again.
You know what? I would love to be at home while you're overseas raising this little baby all by
Pretty
myself.
much.
That's fantastic. How long have you been doing real estate?
I've been doing it for 8 years, and I think the military career, has helped me.
Yeah. How so?
Exponentially in the real estate industry. Just the fact that I'm so familiar with the process, moving.
Oh,
buying a house, sight unseen.
Yeah.
Selling a house with your husband deployed or your spouse deployed.
I think that a military family might be the only ones that can truly appreciate that. At least, maybe in a normal American might do it once, right? Whereas you got a military family and it's like, okay, we're at 2.5 years. It's going to happen. We're getting PCS, right? And
every 1 to 3 years.
Yeah.
For 21 years we moved.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
That's a lot.
So yeah, and it's, it puts you outside of your comfort zone. There's so many things that you have to do on your own.
Yeah.
But like when we moved to England, I think I was 34 weeks pregnant.
Oh wow.
Well, when you send your stuff, you have to send it like 2 months ahead. So you're because I was going to be more pregnant when I got there, 2 months ahead. But so you do without it home. So we were sleeping on an air mattress when I was that pregnant, so that you have your stuff when you get there. So
boy, can't wait till I'm more pregnant and get that bed back. It's going to be awesome.
A lot of discomfort. So I think that helps me too. You know?
So just a kind of a quick question for people that do move, or people who are moving to Colorado Springs, maybe from out of state, moving to Colorado Springs specifically, is what can somebody do? Because if you're moving somewhere, you don't know anybody, you don't know anything, you don't know what neighborhood to live in. You literally know nothing, right? Now you have the luxury of Google, of course, right?
Sure.
Which is nice. But what could you tell somebody moving here that doesn't know it? Like, how would they get acclimated, or what would be maybe to get comfortable?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I used to always ask my clients, do you want a view of the mountains or do you want to use the mountains?
Oh, you're either on Powers or in Manatee.
Right.
Which one do you want?
And so that would give me a really good inclination as to their lifestyle.
Okay.
Now, because of the prices, you have to kind of live where you can afford.
Yeah.
So it doesn't apply so much, which is kind of sad because.
Yeah. Where do you like out east as an example, like everywhere, I never really paid attention to the view until we had those fires on the west side, right? Yeah. And as soon as we had the fires on the west side, we actually got, I almost said evacuated. Wrong word, right? Yeah. Different meaning. But so we had to leave for like 3 days, and then when I come back, they wouldn't let us in our neighborhood. And the fire was still burning. And so we drove over kind of to the east side and looked toward our house. You could still see smoke. And but I remember thinking, they've got a fantastic view over here. Oh my gosh, this is like
they do
really good.
So it's right. Exactly.
You
and
know?
I think that's why that question was so paramount, because it was, do you want a panoramic view of the mountains so that you can sit in your home and admire them? Or if you live close to the mountains and you use them every day, you don't get the view.
You certainly don't. The sun sets an
freezing.
hour earlier. Yeah, exactly. The snow doesn't melt. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. Yeah.
So the view, I love, one thing I love about out east is I can see basically like NORAD, like all the way past Garden of the Gods into Air Force Academy. And you can kind of just, it's beautiful.
So beautiful.
It's fantastic, right? Getting there, it would drive me nuts. Maybe I just don't plan very good. So I live on the west side, and I don't know, 2 block away from trails or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like I don't have to put a lot of thought into it. It's like I feel like going for a walk. I could be on the trail in 4.5 minutes. Get the dog, tell the kid to get the shoes on, and we're out the door, right?
Yes.
So that's one thing that is a lot different living on the west side. Now, people that are moving here, so you want a view of the mountains, or do you want to use the mountains?
Correct.
But back to the question is, how would you suggest that they get comfortable with springs, right? Like, because like when you first moved here, like when did you first move here?
2007.
2007. Okay, and where'd you move from?
From Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? Well, I'll phrase it slightly differently, and then we'll get back to that question. Okay. What was different about Springs that maybe was different than what you thought it was going to be?
It's high desert.
It is.
I had no idea. I grew up in Kansas City, and so we would drive out multiple times each ski season.
Yeah.
And ski, and when you're driving I-70.
Oh, you're one of those families.
I know, yeah. The Kansas plates that everyone hates.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up in Canyon City, and it'd always be like,
oh,
wow,
brother.
those people are going skiing. Yeah. I've never been skiing. I went once in middle school, and it was like this big family thing. It's like, okay, kids, this is costing us a year worth of extra income, so better enjoy it.
It's true.
They see all these people with other plates. And I'm like, whoa, man, look at all these. Look at this going skiing. So you'd come through, but you guys would go. Like where would you go? Like Keystone or Vail or Winter Park?
We went all over the place. Yeah. We went to Aspen, Crested Butte.
Okay.
Vail.
2 different worlds, Aspen and Crested Butte.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I don't really remember going to Breckenridge a whole lot. I remember going to Crested Butte quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Aspen. And then
that's a heck of a drive. That's a drive from here.
Is.
Yeah.
Well, so my cousins, my aunt and uncle and my cousins, they would drive from Nebraska.
Okay.
And so, they had the van, like the Econo vans, like the old ones, like the 80s, whatever. And, the big queen size bed in the back of it. Oh, it was a blast. It was best memories ever. And I just remember.
No seat belts. It was fantastic.
You can nap, you can wrestle, you can play Barbies, you can do whatever you want.
You get yelled at. The parents are like, shut up back there.
Oh, it was so great. But I just remember as a kid just looking up and just being so awestruck by the mountains.
Yeah.
And so I think people that have never been to the mountains, it's important to point that out, that we are high desert. We're the Front Range, and explain what that means.
Yeah, yeah.
So because it was new to me, I had no idea. I'd never lived in Colorado before. We had only, come to ski. And so when we moved to Colorado Springs, I was like, what is this?
Hold on, it's like I still got to drive 3 hours to go skiing?
Yeah,
this is some bull crap.
I know, right? Yeah. So that was the biggest thing for me. But also, I don't know. I think people that have never experienced snow too, you kind of have to go through that and explain to them, really we have 300 plus sunny days a year. We do get snow.
But those other 60.
That's true. Yeah, we do get snow, but don't let that
it's not
make you afraid to go out and explore things.
You'll have a few, like I always figure there's about 3 times a year that we don't, like you just stay home. Like 3 times a year. It's like you're not going out, just everything's shut down. It's nice and quiet outside, that's for sure, right?
Sure
but at the same time, it's not a lot happening for those 3 days or those 3 times.
Definitely, definitely.
So in real estate, are you finding that you're working more with people moving here, moving out of here, or already here?
Moving here.
Moving here?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, moving here. I just got a seller under contract last night. They're moving back to California.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting,
Yeah,
kind of a reverse trend there. Yeah. So, but mostly people that are moving here, and I work with a lot of military people. So
I was going to say that having that kind of experience,
Yeah.
A lot of real estate agents, like we get, they can show houses and they can do this, they can do that, but to truly understand, like, hey, Carrie, I'm 32 weeks pregnant. I'm sleeping on an air mattress. I'm coming here from, Taiwan or something like. You're like, I got you.
I got this.
I got you.
Yeah.
Like, don't panic. You're going to feel like this. You're going to think this. This is the point where you kind of break down. Don't worry. We're going to get through that. And you got the whole thing.
You just explained my business in a nutshell. That's
fantastic.
exactly what I do. I think, I have so many things that are relatable that, I have a teaching degree.
Okay.
I used to teach kindergarten.
Okay.
It's like first-time home buyers. I love that aha moment, and I always assure them, hey, look, this process is, it'll test you a little bit.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense, but, you can ask me questions along the way. You can ask me as many times as you need to. I will clarify as many times as you need to. There are no stupid questions.
Yeah.
And then and I feel such a pride and success, when they have that aha moment, like, okay, it's starting to fall together. Like, I get this.
This makes sense.
And I love it when I have clients, like sometimes there's just these super standouts that they literally just get the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that.
I think the most challenging clients that we get when we're dealing with home purchases are people who aren't willing to ask questions. And then what that does is that leads them to go to, basically there's three ways they're getting answers: Google, their family and friends, or a lot of assumptions.
Yes.
And that's really like, it's like, whoa, just, you need to ask questions. You need to ask a lot of questions. And if you don't ask a lot of questions, you end up having a much more challenging transaction. Even if you've bought and sold real estate before, it's different. It's always different. The rules are changing. The market's changing. And you were mentioning people moving back to California. So we pulled up, it was about a week ago, we pulled up what states move in and what states move out the most. And California was actually in the top 2, both coming to and going there. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was California. Florida was both on there.
Yeah.
Maybe in Arizona, maybe. No, what was it?
Texas? No.
Texas, yes, it was Texas. Yeah.
Texas.
All those license plates. We thought they were going skiing. No, they're buying houses.
They are.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was weird. For some reason, people moving here, Illinois was one of them.
Really?
Which was in the top 5.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
If it's the Chicago area.
People aren't moving.
Yeah.
People aren't moving there, but they're moving here from there.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other states is back and forth. Texas, Florida, and California all three, all were on both lists, all three of those.
Really?
Yeah, which is very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I'm glad to hear that because them moving back to California, people are like, they're moving back to California. I'm like, yeah, they love it there.
They love high taxes and questionable pollution. Policies, they are into it.
They're in the desert, though. So
I'm just making fun. I don't know if you're
and actually, I helped their children build their house.
Oh.
And they're military, so I sold their house.
Okay.
And they bought to support their children.
Yeah.
And that's a fairly typical situation too. My parents did that as well when when I bought out here, we bought out here in Colorado, my parents bought a house here from Kansas City because my spouse was going to be gone for 15 months.
Yeah.
So, I think
interesting.
that's kind of
that's kind of cool.
So then the parents get left because,
the
military children move on and they're like, well, what do we do now?
We're out in 2.5 years, so enjoy your house. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
So you have a teaching degree.
I do.
How long did you teach?
2 years is all. We were stationed in Germany, so I worked at the Dodds School there, and I taught special ed in kindergarten. And then I was expecting my first child. We moved back to the States. So, I mean, when you're moving every 1 to 3 years, you can't really have a classroom.
I almost feel like it's a lot of spouses, and this is just my perception. I could be way off, but it seems like a lot of spouses that have military and they're being moved. It seems like their jobs are more. How can I say
support roles?
Yeah. It seems as opposed to I'm gonna go be a dentist or something, something like that. It's a different because you're like, this is my family, this is my unit, and this is what I signed up for, and you guys are getting moved all over the place. Yeah,
it's not just a job; it's the whole family's lifestyle, and so there are a lot of sacrifices. But also, I didn't see it that way. The places that we got to live, the people that we got to meet, are just exemplary people.
Yeah.
They are so dedicated and so selfless and are modest, and the Army doesn't pay you to get rich. The Army pays you enough to live. So and the expenses, they try to offset the expenses, but the expenses of moving, which I can relate that to my clients as well and be like, I really understand this. I don't just have a military relocation professional, abbreviation by my name. Like, I truly understand.
So you're not just saying I'm an MRP PCS specialist, right?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Even though I am.
Yeah. Well, but see, that's the difference, though, right? It's a difference. Is are you really good at marketing? And so we deal with this like the big conglomerate lenders, right? They're super, super good at marketing. They're okay at loan origination, right? Like at best.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, though. Is like you have to you were like us dealing with them. You are dealing with people who have not lived it and don't experience and don't intimately know it, other than vicariously through their clients.
Right.
But they're really, really crazy good at marketing, and everything's a PCS this or an MRP that, right? Yeah. But in reality, do they intimately know it and understand?
Yes.
And they can say they do, but unless you live it, like I'll never know that. I know how to do a VA mortgage really good. You know what I mean? But I'll never be able to connect that way.
Yeah, my parents don't.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to support, but you don't understand the unique challenges of, your spouse. Hey, we're moving here. Okay, go.
Man, I just started like my neighbor.
Where are the kids going to go to school?
Yeah.
Where are we going to live? What's the best neighborhood? What can we afford? Yeah, and that's just it too. I think for so long I lived in this state of ready to say goodbye. Just never really.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way.
Going deep because we were always ready to go, and I think that. For the first 10 years of the career, it was new places, new people. The second 10 years of the career was just a big mixer of places and people. So that was kind of fun revisiting people then that you were stationed at certain places with.
Yeah,
and,
it's like, hey, I'm
having that commonality.
I was down the street from you in Germany.
Right.
And here we are in Virginia. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, back to really knowing that process. I think that and like you said, marketing, that is not my forte. I wish it were, because I feel like I have a lot to offer my clients.
Yeah.
I really do. but that's my strong point.
Yeah.
And marketing is not.
So
How do I marry those two?
Well,
is what I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, that's excuse me. I guess that's what I'm saying is some companies are basically, or teams even, are marketing teams that can show you houses, right? But as opposed to being a true expert in that arena.
It's at Canyon City.
It's at Canyon City. Yeah. That's public education there, folks. Right there. Ask me to spell that word, right? I'm going to use phonics. I'm going to have like all the vowels. Right?
Throw an I in there, you're good to go.
They're all in there, yeah. Sometimes Y, but so
that was witty.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, young,
really
sharp. Yeah, that's one thing you get. Yeah,
I know.
Streets of Canyon City will teach you a little bit of wit. That's about it, though. So in your business, so that you do a lot of you do a lot of business, but you're not heavy, like I'm going to go spend $8 zillion on Zillow and Google ads and Facebook ads and everything else, right? So how are you able to get most of your clients to come back to you? Do you have but it's going to be a multi-level question here. Okay. So just right out of the gate, what was the first thing you would say if I'd say, how do you get your repeat and referral business? Well, let me guess. You do a fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
I'd like
okay.
to say that's
okay.
number one. Yes.
I would assume that would be a standard answer.
You
Yes.
answered your own question. Referral. I mean, my business is basically referral, word of mouth. Like I said, I'm so poor at the marketing piece, and I've been fortunate enough to make a lot of deep acquaintances in the military, and when someone moves here, they're like, "Oh, you should contact Carrie or
Use
whatever."
Carrie, yeah,
exactly. And then, I had one truly just exceptional client that referred me to like 6 of her group network friends. And it was just so grateful and so amazing,
but with that though, so 2 parts of that. Number one is, are you part of those groups as well? Like on Fort Carson?
No.
Or you're not?
No.
Okay. So so they're doing
the work.
The work for you. Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay.
Essentially.
So then how do you, I'm trying to just get down to the heart of what you're doing. There has to be some sort of continued follow-up. There's continued connection. There has to, I know there has to be. Somebody's not going to just remember, oh yeah, I did a deal with Carrie, 2 years ago.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. You're like, no, seriously, they do.
Kind of. No, I'm just kidding. But I meet a lot of people on the trails.
Really?
A lot of people on the trails. I give a lot of cards out on the trails. I got my little.
Now we're not going to disclose which exact trails. We're talking West Side Trails, right?
West Side Trails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hiking, mountain biking. What is it?
Hiking.
Hiking?
Yeah.
Okay.
With my dog, it's just people have their guard down. It's such an easy conversation to have. It's like, the dogs will start playing or whatever.
What kind of dog do you have?
A Labrador.
Labrador.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're from out of state and you have a lab. Okay.
Is that cliche or something?
Very.
I've been here 17 years.
Do you go to the dog park and let them run around and think that they're cute when they jump on other dogs? Because that's pretty cliche too. Yeah. No. Okay.
She's a really good girl. She's 9, and she's a really good.
She's adorable. I don't do that with my dog.
She's kind of aloof. She's just like, I'm 9. I don't bother the young pups. But anyway, lots of lots of people, lots of meetings and
bumping into them, talking to them. Well, that type of dog
organic.
helps out. If you had a socially challenged dog, you'd have a hard time with that, right? Because then you'd be on a leash, you'd be pulling them away, and so it'd be like have a puppy or a baby, and go where the people are. So there's a thing that we always like to say or Labrador. It's basically a puppy and a baby.
And
right?
a baby.
Yeah, a baby. Yeah. Is who knows about your business before you? Find where are they going to be, right? And that's the question that we always like to say in mortgages. Yeah, like who knows about your business before you, and go where they are. And so a lot of people say, well, B&I group, or I meet with realtors, or a divorce or CPA. Attorneys or accountants or whatever it is, right? Like I'm going to go to where those people are.
Great ideas.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I don't do any of that.
Well, you're remarkably successful. So
I don't know about that, but I just live a genuine life. I think, doing what you love genuinely is going to put people in your path that, it's an organic type of bonding and connection. And, just that's what I thrive on with my business. And it's authentic and genuine.
Okay. Authentic and genuine is, okay. I'm just going to throw a couple numbers, and there's not real hard evidence. It's just my perception. There's like 5,000 agents in town, right? Or in PPAR, something like that. A lot of them have been licensed sometime in the last 2 to 3 years with COVID, right? A whole bunch of them. I don't think a lot of them know how to be authentic in real estate. And the reason I say that is I feel like they, from my interaction with a lot of them, is it's like a child learning how to act at a new school, right? Like what's acceptable behavior here? Because you don't know. And to be truly authentic and truly comfortable with yourself, that takes years, and it takes a lot of deals, right? To be like, okay, I'm good with me, right? This is going to be who I am. Now there's the unique individuals that just jump right in or exactly that way, and that's all there is to it, right? Yeah. And maybe you were that way, but it seems like there's a lot of agents that have a hard time being that. I think that the more authentic you can be, the better. If let's say you have that Southern Colorado twang, or maybe you have that, I wish my name was Caroline, whatever you.
Then Carrie Me Home wouldn't work. You can't Caroline Me Home.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Carrie Me Home, Carolina.
There's a reason I'm Carrie.
Caroline Me Home. Yeah,
Caroline Me Home.
I think the more authentic you can be with that, the people can recognize that. And I actually I struggled with that when I first started doing mortgages. I came in just as a pure salesperson. That's it, right? And it was good for a while, but then I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to, do it this way or that way. And it took a while for me just to be like really comfortable with, like, I am just cool with me, like exactly the way it is.
Yeah, I think, I just feel like I was kind of always a student. I really like taking classes, especially being on my own, having my own brokerage, taking classes and being current.
Yeah.
You have to be current.
Yeah.
But back to the newer agents.
Yeah.
When I was a new agent, you go through the class. I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I had an exceptional mentor at the first place that I started, young gal, and she just really was probably the best mentor I've ever had.
Okay.
And but I think, the new agents, if you go in humbly and authentic and say, look, I don't know the answer to that, but I will find it and I will get back to you. Those two things, finding the answer, that makes you a stronger agent than asking someone else. Yeah. Or I guess you have to ask someone else or do the research or whatever. Right. But you find the answer and then you get back to them and they appreciate that. And so that was how I started, and just very humbly, like,
Well, that's going to help with long term. When you think about long term, and actually we say that all the time in our office, right? It's like, go find the answer. You don't have to have the answer now. Yes. And I think that to me has been a huge thing with our team over the last 7 years that we've had that we've been here, is like you don't have to have the answer. Right. Like, take off the superhero cape, right? You don't have to have the answer, and it's okay.
It's okay.
Right? Like, why do they have this line item on title? That's a very good question. I'm going to figure that out, and I'll get right back to you. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I have that use that all the time. Yeah. Right? Like, you know what? I'm going to find out.
I think they respect that because, first of all, it's truthful.
Yeah.
You're not, I don't think you appear less educated or less professional. It's, hey, that's a really good question. I know a little bit about it, but let me really find out more about it, and I'll get back to you. And
then that allows you then to be, number one, you're way more educated, and you as your past life being a teacher, it kind of does that same thing. It says, well, now I'm going to go teach this subject to this person, or whether it's even if it's a 30-second explanation, I understand it now. I dug into it, right? Yeah. I get it now. 100%. And I think doing it that way makes, like you said, makes you look more respectable, in my opinion. If I ever talk to somebody who knows everything, I have a lot of concerns.
Yeah.
When I watch the news, and somehow they know a little bit about everything. I'm like, I think you just have a plan or an agenda. I don't think you really understand the implications of the Fed fund hike. You know what I mean? You read something on Wikipedia before you got on here or something.
You can't know everything.
Yeah, it's completely impossible.
You just can't. And I think, it's like parenting. I mean, I just think that even being a parent prepares you for real estate because, you don't have to have an immediate answer for your kids. It's like, hey, hang on a second. I'm a little stumped by this. I'll get back to you. You just need to hang on and I'll get back to you.
Mom, can I do this? Yeah. Let's see. I could kill you. I could say no. I'm going to get back to you in like 5. Just don't talk to me for 5 minutes. Let me ponder my proper reaction here. Yeah.
And I think too with clients, I have found as a new agent, you just want to answer questions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like put out every fire.
Yeah.
And you're just frantic and you just are reactionary to everything. And I haven't been in real estate for 15 years. I've been in real estate for 8 years. But in that 8 years, I've realized, hey, I am here for you 100%. But also, if you give them a moment, you do not have to react immediately.
Yeah.
They'll come around and they will figure it out.
And it's interesting when
the information.
Let's say we have to deliver bad news to a client, right? And it could be anything. Could be I don't know, your assets are wrong, or the inspection went bad, or whatever it was, right? A thousand things, right? So let's say something does go sideways in real estate. What I found the most success and what I think works the best is when I work with a real estate agent that. Like normally I'll call the agent, I'll explain the situation before we call the client. Yep. And then me and the agent get on the same page. And we fully understand the situation, we talk about it, and then one of us calls the client and talks to him about it. But what that does is it gives you that synergy, that almost like if one of us freak out, the client's going to freak out. Because they're like, Carrie's freaking out. Why is Carrie freaking out? I should freak. It's like if your doctors, let's say you're not all the way under and they're doing some sort of surgery. He's like, oh, that's not good. Like, wait, what? What do you mean it's not good? Right. Did you cut a ligament? What's going on here, right? Yep. It's you have that instant, kind of panic. Whereas if we're on the same page, now all of a sudden it's like the client's like, oh, so this is normal? It's like, yeah, we got this.
Yeah, we've got this.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's so important to have a good team that you trust. And I think building relationships and rapport with the other agent, there's no sense. And there's just no
I know where you're going.
sense in being
battling.
Yes.
Yeah.
It serves no one.
Yeah.
It makes everything contentious. It's just, there's no sense in doing that. A real estate transaction, you want to feel, you don't want to feel like someone got entirely beaten up.
There doesn't have to be a loser in the real estate transaction.
Yes.
There just doesn't have to be.
How I try to do my business. There are some agents that are really contentious.
So, but let me tell you that on the mortgage side, we see that as well. And it makes it to where we don't want to call that agent to try to figure something out. Because you're like, man, all they're going to do is freak out.
Makes it worse.
I'm just not even going to talk to them. I'm going to figure it out, and then I'm going to call them because I can't
work through it.
I can't work through it with them at all, right? I'm going to call the other. I'm going to call Carrie. We're going to work through it.
Yeah, we'll work through it,
and then we'll figure out the other person, right? And I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but as a realtor, right? If you know which agents, like if I asked you to name 3 agents that you love having the other side of the transaction, you'd probably know.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, yeah, absolutely. Bing, bing, bing. If I could have all my transactions with them, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, I bet you could probably name 3. You're like,
not 3.
Okay, 2.
Probably name 2.
Okay, yeah.
I could probably name 2.
You could probably. She's got them in her mind.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I would imagine then that and I know several like that as well. But going into it, and you show your clients a house listed by them, and you're thinking, just don't buy this house. Let's buy the neighbor's house. It's listed by somebody else, right? I mean, but I know you have the fiduciary responsibility to help that client.
Just have to put your
but doesn't that
on.
impact your excitement about the transaction at all? I would think it would. It would have impact mine. Now you're going for the professional answer. I'm going for the human answer. I'm thinking, screw that person, right? They're good. This is going to be a pain in the butt, but I just can't show it. I got to work through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just going to go, yeah.
Yeah. You just, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? You know, it's just, it's like, I got to do this. I got to put on a professional hat. I got to put on a brave face for my clients. They don't need to know anything. We just need to do this. And
what's your favorite part of town?
The West Side.
West Side?
West Side's the best.
Can you give me like a?
What is it?
There we go. There. Yeah, like you know what I was talking about. Yeah, you got West Side's best side, right? Yeah. So, what do you love about the West Side of Colorado Springs?
Oh gosh, just it feels like a small town. Yeah. You know, everybody knows everybody.
What part of West Side do you live in? Like what area?
Well, I rent.
Okay.
I got divorced a couple of years ago, and so I actually rent. I'm right on Cresta by the Broadmoor, so I rent a little tiny cottage, and it's super cute, and I have a huge yard
by Cresta. I mean, you've got Helen Hunt Falls up the street. You have Gold Camp up the street. You have Captain
North
Jack's.
Canyon,
you have
Stratton, open
all
space.
that stuff. Yeah, Stratton. And they just built about 2 years ago. They built a new downhill mountain bike run coming off of
ladders.
Yeah.
I know
that's really, really fun. Yeah,
it is. So I love
all
it
West
so much.
Side.
And you know, growing up, we always lived in older communities, older homes, and so I have a true love for older homes and their character, and you know, I have just such an appreciation.
So you really love the constant, continued maintenance that it requires to own a old home.
It just is. It's throwing dollars out the window. It's great.
Yeah, well, my house was built in the 60s. It's probably not as old as yours, right?
Mine is 39.
Okay, yeah.
And
so
you can hear the wind going through the house.
Well, I got radon mitigation of like about a year ago, and we were debating. We're like, we kind of have a lot of airflow that goes through anyway. Like, do we really need it? Because I mean, honestly, you know, it's probably fresher air than we're getting in a lot of other buildings. And then we added AC. Yeah, it's nice. I've never had AC my whole life. I never grew up with AC. Right, I'm almost 50 years old, and I've never had AC in my entire life. And like 4 years ago, we put in AC, and we've always had swamp coolers or just fans. Yeah, fan. And we put it in. We're like, whoa, this is awesome. This is really cool because we just lived in this old house. Like old houses don't have it, right?
Yeah.
But then it has like this arched ceiling, right? Or not arched, it's a, whatever. It comes to a big point. Yeah, vaulted. There you go. Yeah. So that's why I do mortgages and you do real estate. But the crazy part is the insulation's so poor in these old houses.
Oh, yeah. If you're going to put an air conditioner, you may as well put, insulation first. And then
the vaulted ceiling, I can't because So I turned on the fan like 2 days ago, right? I turned on the fan, the ceiling fan, and I may as well just open up a hot attic. Because it just like blasted me with this hot air. It was just been trapped for half a day at the top of my. No. I'm like, man, I got to think this through. You know, I gotta plan this better. But old houses, but I got to tell you, they're to me. I mean, maybe because I've never lived in a new house. I've always had old houses, but it is. There is always some sort of character. Like my house, even though it was built in a little community over on the west side in the 60s. Like there's not. Maybe I could see 2 or 3 other houses that are like mine over there in the whole area, right? Like there's not a lot of repeat cookie cutter stuff. Yeah. And you got the mature landscaping, and so that's my favorite side of town as well.
And I love those true, the ones that are still in original condition. It just breaks my heart when you got a flipper that comes in and takes that charm out.
Oh my gosh, I hate that.
And
I just felt the emotions of it because somebody down the street did that, and I was like,
it takes down all the walls.
Yeah. Let's modernize this thing.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I don't know. That absolutely breaks my heart because, when you live in a house and you do projects and you make it, whatever improvements. Yeah. It's such a difference. Yeah. When the owner does it lovingly, than when a flipper comes in and does it. Yep. And it just like.
Well, am I putting in solid doors or hollow doors? Am I putting in hardwood or am I putting in laminate? Am I putting in exactly. Am I doing MDF versus actual hardwood? Am I like cabinetry? Everything that you do in your own house that you're going to live there. You're like, man, I want to live here. You put a slightly different level into it, right? Or you could do it like me and not pull a permit on anything and just kind of. Did I say that out loud?
I didn't hear that. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I've become quite handy with my
you
own.
Have the water
my own
heater
project.
with no permit. Is that you?
Well,
Plead the fifth.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but let's just say I've been shocked a few times doing my own electrical work. It's
make sure you turn off.
Okay, but here's something you don't know in old houses. What they don't teach you this is in the same room you could be on 2 or 3 different circuits, right? Like this wall has this, so you shut it off on one wall. You're like, it's all good. You go to the next one. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this over. Because I mean the outlets are all worn out and like plugs fall out of them. Yeah,
you have to
the light switch is jiggly. Yeah. I'm like bending. It's like, come on, vacuum. I'm bending it out and then cramming it in there just to get the.
We have lived in old houses.
Yes, to me that's always been normal.
Only know that.
Yeah.
And like my house. What is the standard now? Every 6 feet there has to be an outlet? There may be one outlet in a room. Oh my gosh. Talk about overloading outlets.
And your cell phone service sucks because you got a little, So when I decided to redo, I redid my doors a couple years ago.
Nice.
And so I just went and I bought like the solid doors and I was going to put them in. And to do that, I got to tear out the old frame of the old doors. So my old doors were really hollow and in fact, the hinges, true story, it's the craziest thing. They were so worn out that it was like a pivot that went up and down. It was like that's how worn out it was. Right? Wow. I mean, they've been going for like 50 years, right? Yep. So I go and I start replacing it. And what I realized was as I'm taking off the trim and everything is completely solid wood, right? Except for the door itself was a piece of crap. But but and my address was written on the back of all of the
wood, because when they delivered it, they wrote it on. Yes, you're exactly right.
And they would go through and they'd put anchor bolts in the corners of all. I was like, it's like, oh my gosh,
so beautiful.
Like this, like you're not going to get this anywhere, right? It takes a certain charm, but it takes a certain person to appreciate that charm.
It does,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think again, that's another reason why I loved that question so much. Because I really don't ask it anymore because it doesn't really apply, but. It just depends on where you are from. And that's the thing that I love about real estate is that, just like relationships, there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
And I love taking a raw person, if you will, and like, okay, I can do this. I love that challenge.
I will form this.
Of matching what they say with their deliverable dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people buy out east, so you said, do you want to view or do you want to use? Now, again, this is now to me, the correct answer is always, well, I want to use the mountains, but there's some serious downsides too. Like you said, at 4 o'clock, you do not have sunshine anymore. It has gone over the tip of Pikes Peak. The whole west side is a shadow.
You can see the whole east side is bathed in sunshine.
You know what? In certain times of year, like spring and fall, when it's like cold on the west side, and I see it over there, I'm like, oh man, dude. I could just be riding my bike and be warm. It'd be so nice. And the other part of that on the west side, like the only place that I could really go within 5 minutes of my house, that we had a grocery store at King Soopers on Centennial. Now recently they built a Costco about 10 or 15 minutes away, which is kind of nice, right?
Yep.
But that's that's a little ways away. And when I'm on the east side, like, I can get anything.
There's a grocery store and everything.
There's a grocery store. There's a convenience store. Every food, like, you know how long it took for us to get like a Chick-fil-A on the west side? Like, it took a long time, right? I was like, man, they opened Chick-fil-A. I'm like, oh, it's a whole new world, right? This is fantastic. It just takes a while to get stuff when you're, and even driving. It's as an example, right by my house, there's the road Fillmore. Okay.
Yeah.
Within a 1 mile stretch, I don't know if you know this, it changes. It has a bunch of curves, and before you get to to where it ends on 31st or wherever it ends, it changes street names 3 times in about a mile. You go Fillmore, Fontmore, Fontanero. Yeah. So you're like, what is going on here, right? Like
it took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah, you're on Fontmore. No, I'm on Fillmore. No, you're on Fontanero. What is going on here, right?
Yeah.
And so it is. Anytime you're from downtown to west side, it is getting anywhere is a little bit more of a challenge. It takes a little bit more driving. And for some reason, and I don't know why this is, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying it, but every single homeless person that's ever wanted to live in Springs lives on the west side. I don't understand that. The sun shines over there. Like what the heck?
More support for
they do, and so on the west, on the west side, like there's like West Side Cares and some other stuff.
I think that's something back to what you asked me at the beginning is, what do you tell people when they're moving here?
Yeah.
Here you have the Broadmoor and excellent Shine Mountain schools.
Yeah.
But you also have to say, that comes with this as well.
Yeah.
And I think addressing those big points that, I don't think there's streetlights on the west side. If that's something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where the closest one to my house is. I think the closest one's about a half mile away from me.
If you want air conditioning, east side. If you want streetlights, east side.
Yeah.
Homeless people, east side.
Yeah.
And the east side is gorgeous. I mean, it did, I think 17 years ago, felt new. I don't think it does any. It
felt like I was driving to Kansas 17 years ago.
True.
I think they just paved Powers like 25 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, it used to be dirt road. It was paved, but yeah.
I had a friend who lived in Black Forest when I was I was out of high school, maybe like 6 months or something like that, and he came. I was living in Colorado Springs and working, and hadn't been out of high school that long, and he came over and visited. And his brother dropped him off, and he hung out for a while. He's like, "Well, can you drive me home? I can't get a hold of my." But we didn't have cell phones, right? You had to go to the payphone. You go to a payphone and call.
We're the same age.
So we'd go to like the Chapel Hills Mall was like the nice mall. I lived by Citadel Mall, and it was still sketchy back then. Right?
Was it?
Oh yeah. So he's like, "Well, can you drive me home?" I'm like, yeah, he's like, I live in Black Forest, right? I'm like, oh, whatever. I don't know. I don't really go out there. So I started driving. After like 15 minutes, I'm like, bro, how far are we driving, man? This is like a really, really long way. Like, did you ever think about moving a little closer here? But it felt like a whole. And now, if I have to drive over to Powers, it's like sure, it's a little bit of getting over there, but it's not very far, right? It's
not. But I think even if you stay to the west side, it just. I driving over here it was 11 minutes, but there was an ambulance, and you have to plan about 30 minutes to go anywhere. Yeah. And the drive time as a real estate agent is a lot.
How many miles do you put in your car?
Well, that's funny that you should ask, because when we got the hailstorm in 2018.
Yeah, where it put holes in the side of the townhomes and everything. Yes. Just blew, it looked like a war zone.
Yeah. So my car got hail damaged. And so when I went to get it fixed or whatever, I don't know, it was a 1-year-old car. I got it in 2017. And in 2018, they said, your car, this brand, in the whole state of Colorado, for a 1-year-old vehicle, you have 10,000 miles more than the next highest mileage.
Than the next highest mileage?
Vehicle.
Not the average, the next highest.
Highest mileage in the state of Colorado. And that's when I was out showing horse properties out in Florissant.
Oh, yeah.
Down West Cliff. But still, I drive out Highway 94.
Yeah.
Okay, Highway 24, there's support. Highway 94, there's not.
Yeah.
And I know that from personal experience. and when your phone only says SOS.
Yeah. You're like, well, I could call flight for life, but I don't know if I can.
It should say SOL instead of SOS, because that's exactly what you are. And
that would be funny. I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, pal. Ain't happening. Yeah.
Your phone just says SOL, and you're like, yep, I figured. So, you have to be self-reliant.
Yeah.
You have to, like I said, you can't panic.
Yeah.
I don't panic. I don't panic. I know I can do it.
Yeah.
I know I can do it, whether it's driving, whether it's working a deal. I just really, and I hate to use absolutes, always and never, but I try never to feel defeated until I really and truly am.
Yeah.
I just.
But rarely are you ever really and truly in real estate.
The thing about real estate is just, and that's why it's so important dealing with the the other agent and your team of people that you're working with, is that if you all have that attitude, you can make things happen.
Well, it's just a thing, right? It's here's a challenge, here's a thing, here's what came up, here's what the client did, here's what the other seller did, here's what this is just a thing. This happened. It's not the explosion people think it's going to be.
You have to take your ego and yourself out of it. You're putting a deal together for your clients.
Yeah.
It's not agent versus agent.
Yeah. Well, some people think it is.
But it's
like,
just not.
They put on boxing gloves
and you're not. It's just not. It doesn't need to be that way.
Here's what we used to tell people. I actually had a friend of mine in town. His name's Frank Shoptaw. I don't know if you know who Frank is. So he works downtown at Weicker. And this is, oh my gosh, had to be 10 years ago or so. And Frank brings up the term to me, pit bull agent. He's like, you don't want to work with pit bull agents. He's like, because they will quote, get it done, but they will make everybody mad in the process. Nobody will want to work with them. And you definitely don't want to refer your best friend or your mom to them, right? So don't try to avoid ever looking to be a pit bull agent, as opposed to
you can't avoid working with them, but you don't want to.
Here, my thing is, I could be way off here, but I think the market will find you out in 3 to 5 years, whoever you are. Like, you could pull it off. You could pull off your shenanigans for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I think the market finds you out.
For sure.
Somehow, some way, that's how it works, right?
Sure.
So you may as well take care of your business in a good way, because the market's going to find out good or bad.
I don't know. I just really have not had any bad experiences to speak of. I think that, not coming off as authentic and genuine, but actually being authentic and genuine, that just puts everyone in a good frame of mind. Yeah. And willing to work.
You're very unthreatening at that point, right?
Yeah,
when you're that way. It's very unthreatening. It's okay, I'm going to bring this up to Carrie and we're going to deal with this. I have worked, that's exactly what has been said by both parties in a lot of transactions that I've done. We'll work this out. This is okay. We can do this. Yeah. And it's just lovely. And I would say 99% of the agents that I've worked with have been lovely. Good to deal with. Yeah. So if you could give advice to a new agent or an agent looking to maybe they just haven't done much business, or it's a new agent, whatever it is, what would be something in particular that you would say is a must? You must, and you keep coming back to authenticity.
Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of stuck on that one.
But it's I mean, that could be it, right? Yeah. Is that you said learn earlier. You said learn.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Okay. Yeah, and close the loops.
Meaning
you
what?
You have to close loops with clients. You have to deliver on your promises. If you say I'm going to find this answer, you have to deliver it. Yeah. And again, you look respectable, not stupid. Yeah. When you do that, like, look,
you look stupid when you say that you know the answer, and then they find out you don't later. Yeah.
Right. Communication. I think that was a challenge for me when I first started. I really didn't understand how much you have to communicate with clients. Yeah. I kind of figured that, like, if things were going along swimmingly, why
then
do you
everybody's
need to
good.
let them know? I learned that real quickly.
Yeah.
That is not the case.
If it's going along good, you better call them and tell them it's going good.
They want to know. And I think too, as an agent, a lot of clients think that you just make money. Yeah. And, it's like, we get a commission check and then
and
taxes.
I had to spend all this just to get to here, and then I got to switch it to here. And exactly. So they see like 10 grand on the thing, and you're like, I made $2,500.
I made $2,500.
And I worked and I stressed and I made $2,500.
And it makes those sweet deals that much sweeter. But I think that you have to find a way without concerning your clients, but letting them know the work that you are doing. Yeah. In a very tasteful manner. Yeah. They want to know that you are working for them. Yeah. And so, hey, I made a phone call to your lender this morning, and I just wanted to update you that Or, I went out and I priced this, that, and the other thing. Or I called 5 different well companies to see if we could get you in before this holiday that's coming up. It has to be tasteful, it has to be tactful, but you do have to find.
They're going to assume that you're not doing anything.
They do.
Yeah, which is crazy.
They do, and it's
all
sad.
you did is show me 3 houses, and you got paid $3,000. What the heck? Yeah,
right.
No, there's a whole lot more that goes into
you
that.
Very tactfully have to show them that you do know your stuff. You do have a network, and you are working for them.
So, this is a little oddball question. Okay.
Shoot.
You're like, hit me with it. All right, I can take it. It's odd in that it's somewhat self-serving. That's why it's an odd question. Okay.
Well, yeah, because it's a business.
Yeah.
You're in business.
So, if you could be a loan officer for 1 week, what would you do different than what you see a lot of loan officers do? How would you do your stuff?
Ooh, gosh.
I mean, you deal with LOs all the time. So, let's say you have a dozen buy sides. What, maybe 4 of them are cash. So you're dealing with at least 8, lenders on that side.
I know that everybody has to have a work-life balance.
Mm-hmm. Is there a but coming there, or what?
Kind of.
Okay, all right, let's hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, because.
But picking up your phone, not afternoon is not a balance. That's an imbalance. Yeah.
I do appreciate it when loan officers are available.
Okay. Explain available.
But I also respect that they have to have downtime and family time and that kind of stuff. I just think, the ones that consistently, I don't work past 5 and I'll return your call on Monday, No.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me.
Well,
it doesn't work for my
so
clients.
just because the bank is closed doesn't mean you can't answer a call, right? Now, I do tell people.
Or issue a pre-approval.
Right.
Yeah.
If somebody comes into town, they're getting, they might be moving here military, and they decide to take a road trip to Colorado Springs. They see one of your signs. They call you, and they're like, well, we're going to buy. You say, well, have you been pre-approved? They say, no. Somebody's got to help them because on Sunday afternoon, they're driving back.
Right, exactly.
Right? Like that's when they're here. You need to help them. Now, 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, they probably didn't just show up. So that would be an inappropriate time to call.
But that's where I think agent experience comes into play.
Yeah.
Is that, you can't do anything at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you really need some reinforcement or, some help, and when you can wait.
So that's you. Let's say that's you reaching out to them. How, if they're, you mentioned with your clients that you need to be in contact and let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
So if the lender's doing that, how often do you need to reach out to the lender if you're having constant updates?
I don't. The lender's always on the emails, typically speaking. But if the lender's doing a good job at communicating with their client, our mutual client, and that's not my lane. Lending is not my lane. So you be the professional in that lane, and I'll follow up with what I need to do to support you. And if you're having an issue getting documents back that you need, I can facilitate that. But
so I just realtor or loan officers just need to communicate. Right, that's what we need to do
with their clients,
okay.
and if everybody on the team for the process is working their own lane, then you've got good communication with your client, and everything matches, and so that assuages a lot of concerns for them when everything aligns.
Okay, so
did I answer your question?
You answered. You did answer my. Well, you talked to me in circles. Now I don't even remember my question. No, I'm joking. No, yeah,
that's part of my charm, Tim.
You won't even know what question you asked me.
Because I don't know.
I don't know. I talked to a guy this morning that was like that. We started talking about something, and then he starts telling me a story about his kid. It was my chiropractor, actually, this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And we've kind of become friends over this last year, and he's telling me about his kid, and then all of a sudden he's telling me this long, crazy story about his kid. He's like, yeah, he's 4, and he calls it powering up. He puts on his, it's like, he puts on his body armor, and he's all crazy and powerful, and then I see this look in my chiropractor, he's like, he's like, I don't remember what we were talking about. I said, well, you were telling about your kid. He's like,
why?
Yeah, but why? He's like, I swear that was going somewhere. He's like,
I know.
I said, well, I found out your kid can power up, so that's good. I have to kind of
keep myself in check because I do. I'm trying to stay focused here. It's very hard. I think, we have a touch of ADHD, which I think helps.
A touch?
And hinders sometimes.
I call it a superpower. it can be a superpower if it's used properly. Well, think of it like X-ray vision, right? Mm-hmm. X-ray vision can be very deadly and kill lots of people. Or not X-ray vision. I'm sorry, laser eyes, right?
Yeah,
like Superman, right? Like laser eyes, right? You could just kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But let's say you were being attacked and it's World War II and Hitler's showing up to town. Your laser eyes are going to
laser him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can laser him.
Yeah.
So do you know how to use that special power of yours without murdering everybody and destroying your own life?
What does Peter Parker say? With great
power comes great responsibility. Yeah. So do you feel like you have ADHD?
Yeah.
Okay. So
so that's been a challenge for me in real estate.
So, but with that though, right?
In the beginning.
Okay. And I would say that makes it, I would say you have more power than people who don't. That's my experience. Very much so.
Well, I think we have the ability to keep a lot of balls in the air at one time.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it makes it.
But that's why I said closing loops is important for me. So I take a lot of notes, And so if I have delivered or if someone has asked me a question and I have said, I'll answer that, I'll get back to you, I must return to that. So that was a challenge.
Because if you don't,
in the beginning, is closing loops and making sure that I address all of the things that I've promised.
I'm going to explain to you why I think it's a superpower.
Okay, yeah, please do.
And it's funny to me that people who feel like they are blessed with that they feel like it is not good, right? They feel like it's been a problem. And I think socially it does become you don't fit the way school tells you to learn.
Yeah.
Right. You don't. That's not the way it's designed. You're not going to be a good factory worker, right?
Right.
Unless you decide that you're going to be the best factory worker then
there ever was.
Yeah. So, but the reason I think it works so well in this industry, if it's done properly, which if you can control your superpower, you have the ability. And this is what I absolutely love. Like my wife is incredibly intelligent. She was valedictorian of her school. She was, college scholarships, all kinds of, like, a very intelligent woman, right? The difference between her and I is she can stick with something and go all the way through, right? Mm-hmm. For me, I have to, I got to be into it or I'm not. That's all there is to it. Yeah. It's like the light switch is on or it's off. Yeah. There's no dimmer, right? And so what I think a very good power that comes with ADD or ADHD, whatever you want to call it these days, is when you decide to get into something, you can hyper focus on a level that a normal human doesn't understand. You can if you can get so far into it that it allows you to elevate whatever you're trying to work on, whether that's coming up with a script, or if it's coming up with a procedure or a protocol, or the creativity is unbelievable with people with ADHD, right? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that
done
comes in
properly
handy with real estate.
Well, done properly,
yes.
right? It allows you to connect with people almost by accident, right?
Yeah.
To me,
it's pretty easy to connect with people.
It is an absolute power that is that is disguised and treated as an unfortunate event that people go through. And I don't buy that that's the case.
Well, I think as you were talking, I was kind of thinking about, how you were saying you can hyper-focus. And that's great. That has served me, a few times when you have like a significant challenge. Like, I had a well on a shared property, a shared well. That was tricky. And so I was able to dig deep. Yeah. Well stuff. Like, I got it. I've got it. I was able to really dig deep. Yeah. And the client really appreciated that. And the client was extremely intelligent. And so, I had to deliver. Yeah. And so I love that part of it. But I think that for ADHD, some people can really be black and white. And for me, life is very colorful, first of all, but it's all about the gray in between.
Absolutely.
I am all about what's in between the left and the right, or the black and the white.
Yeah.
And to me, there is infinite
shades of gray in there.
Well, impossibility.
Yeah.
To get things done and to learn things. And I just there's just so much to learn.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know. I look at things with a lot of possibility. Most everything. Let's be real.
but that mindset right there is also from what I've been around with people that, and I think ADHD is very over diagnosed maybe, but people who I think have those tendencies, the optimism is an element of that as well.
Yes.
I don't find very many
I have a lot of sunshine.
ADHD people with a really pessimistic, grumpy outlook.
Right.
Because
because everything's new all the time. Squirrel.
It's like, Carrie, I got an idea. You're like, yes. That sounds fantastic.
Yes.
So,
but you have to have some actual, be able to actualize as well.
Okay, well, so that was the biggest challenge for me in business. Like I'm incredibly ambitious, like overly ambitious. It's almost like having a horse that you haven't tamed.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like
I'm
gonna go.
Tameable.
Exactly. I'm gonna go ride this horse. Oh, you're gonna fall, maybe. Right? We're gonna give this a shot, right? Yeah. So when I started doing business, and I actually started doing business at a very young age, right? Very young age.
I didn't realize we were so like Tim.
Yeah. I was a paper boy. I had to, rode my BMX bike, and I'd throw papers, and I'd go around. Little better off dead for you there. Okay, we are very much like So, but with that was oftentimes my ambition and my optimism. I wasn't able to rein in what I needed to do to make it successful, and that is a huge skill set that I think that should be being taught to people with ADHD tendencies or ADHD full-blown, diagnoses. It should be, you have a lot of possibility, okay? And you're going to try a lot of stuff, and that's cool. It's okay when you fall on your face, because you, my friend, will fall way more than the average Joe. but that's because you're trying way more.
Yeah.
And you're willing to get up way more. As soon as I can teach you how to develop processes and structure, you are going to be unstoppable.
That's my biggest challenge is systems.
Yeah.
Systems. Because I'm consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
And so
it's reliably inconsistent.
Right? Yeah, pretty much. So it's been a struggle for me to check in with my clients.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I'm bothering them.
You know what?
And when I do reach out to them, it's such a wildly successful.
You're like, I should do this more.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So we have to have systems in our. So I have noticed, and anybody who listens to this and says, well, geez, people are admitting they have ADHD. Well, yeah. Guess what? A vast majority of realtors and loan officers, a vast majority. Can I say vast one more time? A vast majority have it.
Yeah,
it's
I didn't realize that, but
it attracts that, right? It truly attracts that the freedom, the possibility, the creativity, exactly. But then you have people who are having success just through pure consistency. So Warren Buffett has a quote that says, "An idiot with a plan can always beat a genius with no plan." Right? And I think a lot of people with ADHD are very smart people, very very smart people, but they're not the idiot with the plan; they're the idiot without the plan. Right? So because I don't have a plan. So when you look at that and say, okay, what can a real estate agent do to succeed? So what we in my office have to do, because again, we attract a certain type of person, mindset, right? And because of that, we really found two different types that come in and want to work with us as loan officers. And one type is the type that's very book and structured, right? Like very structured. And they generally do good, but they actually have a hard time generating the business. That is their challenge, is generating the business. Then we have the other side who is, they have a lot of good ideas on being structured. They know they need to be structured.
They thrive when they're structured.
And when they are structured, get out of the way.
Right.
Because they're going to they will get business, right? So they're going to get business, but it's very challenging for them to stay structured. So like in my office, as an example, we have our system. We have a CRM that everybody has to use. I don't care what kind of loan officer to work for me. You have to be part of the CRM, and we have it set up to where we have it broken into 4 days, and it has to be this way.
This. Yeah. Method before.
It has to be this way.
Yeah.
Because and by the way, I had to get rid of Excel sheets. I had to get rid of notes, handwritten notes. You should see my desk. I have a pile probably this high of stuff, just stuff, right? Notes. But for me to be effective in my sales, because I know where I thrive and where I challenge, and the challenge is truly that structure. And so for me to thrive in that, I had to invest in technology to hold me accountable, right?
Yes.
A really, really good salesperson can talk their way past even a sales coach and be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I got lots of reasons and excuses. They're totally justified. So I'll give you a quick example. Wednesdays, we are calling our database. We call it Database Wednesdays, right? And now Keller Williams does something that's a D2, 3, R2, D2, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But what we do is we call 2 letters of the alphabet on past clients.
I've heard this. Yeah.
It is crazy how it just people. I don't even remember some of my clients, and then I look at the notes and I talk to them. Hey, just want to check in, see how you're doing. And now phone calls best, but at least shoot them a text, if nothing else, right? At least shoot them a text, and you got to get through it every Wednesday. And we dedicate 2 hours on Wednesday. That's not a lot of time. That leaves you 38 hours left in the week,
and the
right?
Conversations are delightful.
It's awesome.
I know.
And then you start remembering things about them, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, weren't you going to buy a new boat or something? And to have that, your repeat and referral business would skyrocket, right? It would be because you
I know what I'm doing. Yeah, when I don't even have. I'm ashamed to say I do not even have a database of all my clients.
You know what? That's crazy. Okay, first off, wait. Let me back up. It's crazy. That's the first thing I have to say, but it's normal. Is exactly what you have to say. Oh my gosh,
well,
yes.
I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely. It's
been on my list for 8 years.
I swear I'm going to start writing this stuff down. Well, but the thing is, because when do you need to keep written record of your friends? No.
I know.
Right? You really don't.
Yeah.
Like, I know my friends. I don't have to keep written record of every time I talk to them. But when you start doing enough business, right? You start doing enough business, you need that written record to be able to go back and see. Now, if you call 2 letters of the alphabet every Wednesday. Now, some Wednesdays, you're only going to call like 3 people. Other Wednesdays, you're going to call like 23 people. You're like, oh my gosh, it's like a packed, I got S&T on my last names here. There's a lot of people in here. The way Keller Williams does is a little different, though. So we do A, B, C, D here. The way they do it is they do A, Z, B, Y, C, X. Okay. And so the method behind that, and I've looked at it, and it's actually very smart. We should probably change how we're doing it. But their method is that the way the alphabet works, you're not going to call too many on one Wednesday, right? You're going to call just enough on each week, and it's going to be balanced. But by doing that, you will contact your client 4 times a year, right? Yeah, 4 times a year.
Perfect.
And I will tell you where you're probably going to have a struggle, which is where most people have a lot of connection. Like I have loan officers that make incredible connections. They're very smart. They make a lot of connections with people, and they feel like they don't want to do this part. Eventually, you have to ask for business, and that becomes a huge struggle, right? So Brian Buffini has, I'm never too busy for your referrals. He likes to put all that out there all the time. Never too busy for your referrals. We have what's called a 3x3. And we take a very soft approach when we talk to somebody. So if I'm calling Carrie, checking in how Carrie's doing, I'll, at the end of the call, say, hey, Carrie, just really quickly, if you know any friends, family, or coworkers, so there's 3 friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or refinance. Okay, now I say that. Now that at first you're like, okay, this is sounding pretty salesy, Tim. I don't know. But then it comes in with a soft little pillow, a feather pillow that you lay your head on. I say, can I count on you to think of me?
Oh, I love that.
That's it. I'm not asking for referrals. I'm asking, can I count on you to think of me? Because if I can count on you to think of me, and I will tell you, every person says, of course. I'm not saying go out and pound the streets and, hey, do you know anybody could give me the top? I have a lot of people, different sales over the years that maybe I buy something, right? And they're like, Tim, can I count on you give me the names of 3 of your closest friends that you think would benefit?
And your
like,
friends are the last people that you're going to give the names to. You're
I
would never do that.
Like, dude, listen, yes. Kirby salesman, right. I believe your vacuum works good. I truly do. But if I give your name, if I give my friend's name, I will not have very many friends very long.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's that really super soft approach is very important. Mm-hmm. You
Definitely.
know, and I think that
that.
with your natural ability and your natural connectivity and your natural desire to help, right? Mm-hmm. And I can tell just by talking to you, you have that. It is when you say you're authentic, it is you are being authentic.
Thank
You truly want to help people and you want to connect with people, right? And I get the sense that you actually really love doing real estate.
I do.
So
I
do. And that's not everybody.
Well,
right?
Funny thing, are you trying to wrap up?
No, go for it.
Okay,
Absolutely not. So, we got we went over, but hey, you know what?
Okay.
We're already over. What's the big deal? It's already overtime. Let's keep going. Yeah.
So my mom's been in real estate in Kansas City for over 30 years. And I've always expressed that I wanted to do real estate for years and years and years. And she was like, you don't want to. I mean, she flat out told me, don't do this. You're not cut out for this.
It's a bad idea.
You don't want to do it.
You're not cut out for this.
People are brutal. Do not, get off this idea. Just
this little world of fairies and happiness you live in is going to be crushed. Right. I don't want my little girl's view of the world to go bad.
You can't crush my spirit. Anyway, so, I'm like, wow, that's pretty brutal. And I was kind of offended by it too. Like, Mom, you don't have faith in me. You don't think I can do this? Wow.
Yeah.
So, kind of let it lie.
In true child fashion, here you are.
I'm firstborn too.
I'll show you.
I'll show you, Mom.
Me? Yeah. I can't do it.
Yes, you wait.
You wait 24 years. You'll find out.
Exactly. It's like how I ran a marathon. Everybody was like, "Did you run a half marathon first?" I go, "Why?
What?
Why?
I kind of want to do the whole thing.
Like, if I can do a whole one, why don't I do it?" It's kind of my attitude. Yeah. Anyway, so my dad came to visit, and my youngest son had just gone to kindergarten, and I was like, "It's my time now. I've been in a support role. I've always worked in the schools. I've always volunteered.
Yeah.
I've always been in the schools, but haven't had a classroom since I started." And this is my time. And so my dad, we had this great visit. He went back to Texas and he called me and he's like, "Hey, your real estate school starts in June." And I was like, Dad, no, I'm not ready for that. No way. No. And he goes, "You're enrolled. Your books are paid for.
Are your parents married?
Your class." No.
Okay.
No. That's my dad. And then my mom has been in real estate.
So I was going to say, that would be an uncomfortable evening meal.
No.
Carrie's never going to do this. I signed her up. She starts in June.
I guess that's in true divorce fashion. I don't know.
It seems to go, yeah.
No, they're on great terms. But my stepdad was a remodeling contractor for years.
Okay.
And just grew up around real estate and home projects, fixing and stuff. So I think another thing that lends trust from my clients, to me is that, when I am looking for houses and I do a lot of just short videos and stuff with clients that are out of state and stuff. And I tell them that, and I say, I will tell you everything there is to know that catches my eye, that's of concern, come 100%
I plugged something in and it fell out. You might have to replace the outlet.
1960s house. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'm not a home inspector, but I can tell if it's a solid house or not.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was just an aside, but
yeah. So, do you think that you are? Do you think that you are more of a but and I think I know the answer to this, but more of an artist or more of a scientist in real estate?
Oh, an artist.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does that help your clients?
I have vision.
Okay.
I mean, I have vision. But also, I think
Whereas the scientist is very structured.
Yeah.
X equals this, and okay.
But there has to be that too, though.
Yeah.
It has to be. You can't be all visionary. You have
Yeah.
to know if it's a good house in a good location, and
Yeah.
has value. But I think so many people, even when you walk in your house, like I feel like every time I walk in my house, I view it through a stranger's eyes.
Oh, okay.
I think so many people, and I found it interesting too, being a military spouse, that like when people would move, they'd set up their houses exactly the way the previous house was set up.
Yeah.
To me, it was like a blank canvas. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Like,
well, I have
yes.
all this
Yeah.
furniture, all these things that I can place, and I would place them differently every single time.
Oh, yeah.
And I like to move my house around. I like to edit. I like
Yeah.
to. So I think for clients, giving them that vision,
Yeah.
when they walk in and they see other people's furniture in there, they're only picturing that.
That's all they see. They see, okay,
Right.
honey, the couch goes there.
The couch goes there.
TV
it
goes
against
there.
the wall. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you could pull the couch out and go this way. And some of them are like, look at me like I have two
Hey,
heads. Like,
crazy lady,
why
can't
in
you
the
see that the
world
couch
would
goes
I do
here?
that?
Yeah.
And then other people, it kind of opens up this like,
Yeah.
oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
And so, I think more of an artist, but you have to have, you got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
So,
when you have a client moving here, do you let's say it's sight unseen? Are you doing like a WhatsApp? You're doing a video chat, or are you just taking little photo or videos and sending them to them?
well, like you said, connectivity is sketchy sometimes in parts of the city and stuff. So I'll usually just do short videos.
Okay.
And if they're under a minute, if they're about 40 to 50 seconds, they'll easily text.
Yeah. Anything longer than that, it starts getting like takes a half day to get through.
Or shrink down the video or whatever. So I usually do that. Then they have them. But a cool app that one of my clients showed me is called Marco Polo.
I've heard of it. I haven't used it.
One?
Yeah, I have heard it. I haven't used it though.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a live time thing, but you can also record videos that they can watch later. And I think it does save the videos.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool app.
So it's not like in the swimming pool where you're trying to drown your brother.
No.
Nothing like that. Okay.
Well, there is that
Yeah.
too. But
where do you see yourself in real estate? Like what would be the ultimate for you in real estate? Do you want to continue, you're on a good trajectory right now. You're helping a lot of families buy and sell. Probably enough to where you are comfortable, but are you looking to do anything different than what you're doing right now?
Yeah.
What would you like?
I'd like to get into, I don't know, on the west side it's hard. You've got your core group that, get the big luxury listings and stuff.
I can name like 4 of them, and they always, I don't know.
Just keep getting them, yeah.
Yep.
And that's awesome. I think I have the eye for that. I think I have the taste for that.
To do the higher end.
Yeah. Materials,
the Kissing Camels, the Broadmoor, stuff like that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But then again, volume is great too. I think it keeps you sharper. Because you're
do you want to grow
business.
a team, or do you want to keep doing solo?
I recently did get my employing broker license.
Okay.
And I've thought about it. I love teaching people.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I want the liability of a new agent.
Yeah.
But if I see some real potential or
then
some
you would entertain that
genius
idea
in someone, then I might entertain that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could summarize it in, say, 5 years, what would you want your business to look like? Would you be doing that higher end houses, and would you have a team, or just one, or just like the way that you could truly want it in 5 years? What would it look like? You said you're a visionary.
That's a challenge. Well, I'd like my oldest son, and probably my middle son to get their real estate license. My oldest son has a degree.
You have more faith in your children than your mother had in you.
Yes.
So
Well, every generation gets better, okay? Yeah. My oldest son has a degree in architecture and environmental design, and he's working at a custom home builder. And so
interesting.
I would love to partner with him. He's a really sharp kid.
Yeah.
He's got the combination of charisma and
that's
being able to actualize having a plan.
That's so rare.
And I think those are the most intelligent people that can engage both parts of
it's
their brain.
So rare. Yeah.
So I'd really love to partner with him within 5-year time because, he'll be 28 and, maybe having a significant other and, life gets
You want grandkids, don't you?
No, not yet.
No? Okay.
No, not for a long time.
You're not ready to sugar them up and send them home?
No, not yet.
Interesting.
I still have a 13-year-old that sugars himself up.
Yeah. Caffeine and sugars himself up,
But, in the next 5 years, I think that's kind of prime time for him and I to put something together.
Okay.
So, I would like my business to grow, but I want to be deliberate.
Do you want to continue helping mainly military families? Would that be your primary focus?
Yes,
maybe.
Yes, no.
You like the balance you have now between
between
resells locally and the military coming in, and so you kind of like that balance.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's tough for military families now. A lot of them are priced out of the market. So I can't put all my eggs in just that basket. I've got to have some diversity and to be a local agent as well as, do military deals.
Well, the way the pricing is, I feel like their BH needs to go up by like $700 or so.
Gosh, $7,000 now.
Yeah. Well, what's the average sales price in town right now? It's like it's close to $5,000, isn't it? Right around there.
I think it's in the $5,000s or just below.
That's unbelievable.
But it is.
Yeah.
It is. I was just looking in our area this morning.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was on MLS looking at everything in Cheyenne Mountain District 12. And the lowest price house is $385, and that's a 1-bed, 1-bath, 1,000 square foot house.
1,000 square foot.
1 bed, 1 bath.
So
I can't afford that.
That's
And I think it was 6.75. Is that what
the rate?
Yeah.
It's going to be right around that right now.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's going to be around that. Now, sometimes it's a little higher, sometimes it's a little lower, but that's going to be fairly average.
But I do love my military clients, and they do refer me to, they really do.
Yeah.
They're very loyal. They're very loyal. And if you have a great transaction, then they will absolutely refer
I like
you.
how fast they get me stuff. I think they're so used to getting yelled at by their CEO that they're you need pay stubs like in the next 8 minutes, or when do you? Sure, that would be great. It's a lot better than the next 8 days, which is what the normal client gives me. So
they're just good people. They try so hard.
I really want to thank you for being here.
Of course.
And I have something for you. Can I see that real quick? This is for you. This is so you can wear this and be proud as you.
Oh, that is so cute, Tim. Thank you.
So you're gonna be in the I Love Real Estate.
Oh my gosh, it's my new favorite. I love it.
The West Side I Love Real Estate, and
I love it.
I don't know if it's going to get you any more luxury clients, but you can give it a shot. It might.
Oh, I think it will.
I think it will too. I mean, I want to buy an expensive house with you just looking at it. So.
Dog park, here I come.
Well, thank you very much for being here.
So
I've had a ton of fun talking to you.
It's a blast.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. And that wraps up another episode of Cut to the Chase here with Tim Chase. And watch out next week when we come back with more real estate insider tips. That wraps up another episode of Agent Success Podcast. Remember, you can find new episodes each week at agentsuccesspodcast.com. We hope you found the insights and best practices shared today truly valuable. And if you did, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Remember, your success is a journey of learning and improvement. So let's keep hustling, thriving, and learning. Until next week, this is Tim Chase.